We are very excited to be here with you this evening, and we appreciate you guys taking time to join us. So my name's Grace Ellis, and I'm one of the full-time faculty here in the kinesiology department. We also have a few other full-time faculty. They're kind of scattered about, but I was going to introduce Joseph Maestas. We also have Pat Tarrant, Dr. Tony Swan. We are a department that plays a lot of roles. So we have Sarah Matlock, who kind of is our chaos coordinator. She really helps us with everything, but in particular, she helps us manage our gym and our swimming pool and keeping that staffed with student workers, such as yourselves, as lifeguards. We also have Tiffany, who works really hard for our intramural program. We work hard to have a variety of intramurals to offer you different things, such as pickleball, volleyball, basketball, soccer, that's always a big one, dodgeball, to keep you guys engaged. And all of these things are open to you as students. It is not just for kinesiology majors, so you can partake in all of the things that we offer. In addition to that, we have the associate's degree in kinesiology. We have continuing education classes that are also provided for the community. And we have a lot of variety in courses. So as you can see on this learning stairs, we are promoting all of the different classes that we offer. We know that there's always fitness trends and different things coming out all the time, so we try to provide you with a lot of different classes to keep you active and interested in your lifespan. So that's a little bit about kinesiology and the department and the roles that we play. I'm gonna open it up to other faculty and staff that may have announcements and upcoming events.
Good evening. I just wanted to let you know that we have a new class that's going to be starting this fall semester. It's called Biotech Industry Skills. In this class, we're going to learn various techniques from PCR and gel electrophoresis to prepping solutions. Going through this class will allow you to get trained on various techniques and take a test at the end of the course to try to become credentialed as a biotechnician assistant. And the best part is this course is grant funded, so it's free. It's a CE course, and the exam will not cost as well. So I am Elaine Coleman. I will be one of the team teachers on this, and Professor Berg will also be joining me this fall. We would love to have you sign up. I've got a flyer and a little place where you can let us know that you're interested, but I'm available after this talk as well. Thank you. Thanks so much.
All right, so north, south, kines, west, haha. Find your direction in the field of kinesiology. So you may be asking, okay, well, what's kinesi what? I get that all the time. You're a kinesi what, professor? Kinesiology, and how does that pertain to you? Well, kinesiology is the discipline that studies the science of the body in movement. This includes the anatomy, the physiology, biomechanical, and psychological components of our complex body. I like to start my semester off with my students telling them this quote: why all the excitement about the human body? Because it's the only thing you will carry with you from your first breath to your last. And I find that so empowering because you have the influence to change your health. You have the influence and the power to manipulate when that last breath is. You have the power and the control on your health. It's not about what your parents and grandparents passed down to you. In fact, research shows that your genetics only plays about a 5 to 10% role in your risk of developing chronic diseases. That means, for me, I'm not predisposed to have a stroke like my grandpa. I'm not determined, my DNA is not determining me to have type 2 diabetes like my grandpa. I am not predisposed to have breast cancer like my mom. And that's a motivating thought, because if I was already destined to have these, why would I have any motivation, any goals to better my body? So that means you are also in control. You have the power to influence your mind and body. Your DNA is not your destiny. That other 90%, that's your choices. That's our daily behaviors. You're going to influence your lifespan through your nutrition, your sleep, your stress management, and how active or inactive that we are. And that's what we're passionate about in this field. As kinesiology professors, we want to educate, influence, and help people have control or take that back if it's lost, so that we can live fulfilling lives. Kinesiology professionals use the principles of how our bodies adapt to exercise to improve in fitness, such as in athletes with personal trainers and coaches, such as with kiddos, with your physical education, and as well as in the clinical practice through rehabilitation with physical therapists and chiropractors. And that's just to name a few. If you saw when you walked in, we have a poster that shows all the different degrees and career paths that you can take under the Field of Kinesiology. And it's really inspiring to know that the body can adapt to the lifestyle behaviors that we choose to engage in. Our bodies can adapt to even the behaviors we don't choose to engage in. So we can really play a role in hindering or helping our bodies. And that really just leads us to our distinguished speaker. We are proud to have Dr. Kenneth Thomas here. He has been at Parker University for 41 years. He has a master's in physical therapy, and he is a chiropractic sports physician. For 12 years, he's also worked with Olympians and professional athletes. So please join me in welcoming Dr. Thomas.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure being here. Thank you to the staff here who invited me. I'm here doing what I love to do, which is talk, and especially talk to students about the future. You see, when I went to school, nobody ever came and talked. I graduated, I started university here in 1971. So that was before you were born, before your parents were born, a long, long time ago, when we didn't have the internet, we didn't have information, and nobody came to talk to us about anything about our future. And the genetics doesn't play a role in your future, nor do your parents' education play a role. My dad didn't make it through the 6th grade. My mother never graduated from high school. I was the first person in my family to even consider going to college. And when I went, I had no idea why I was going. I just knew I wanted to go. And today, to stand here and tell you that I have a master's and a doctorate degree, I would have never, ever thought that was possible. So I'm here to tell you that it is possible, and I'm going to tell you why you want to get and invest in your education. Number one, it's something that no one can take from you. And number two, every degree doubles your salary. I did that statistics and looked it up. The average salary of $40,000, if you get a bachelor's, it goes to $80,000. If you get a master's, it goes to 160. If you get a doctorate, it doubles that. So there is no investment in your life you can make that's better than education. So what you're doing here is exactly what you need to do, and you need to go even further. I think most students don't set their sights high enough. You don't give yourself enough credit of what you really, really can do. And if you put your mind to it, every one of you here who is a student at this school can become a doctor someday. I absolutely believe that. It's all in setting your goals, and hopefully you do that on a daily basis. I'm 71, and I have my goals for every day written on my mirror because I have to look and make sure my hair is in place before I leave home every morning. So I look in the mirror, and I see those goals, and I realize that I've got to accomplish those every single day. And so I give myself one of my goals was to be prepared to speak to you tonight. That was my top goal today. So I hope I give you a lot of inspiration and I give you a lot of information that's going to help you along the way. If I can get one of the professors, I have some handouts, and I didn't know the audience was going to be halfway across the lake there. So if I can hold on to one of those, thank you so much. So what I would like, since you're in kines, and that means you probably want to work with the human body. So I have a couple of questions here. So are you interested in helping other people? If you're in kines, if you're going into healthcare, this has to be the top thing on your list. You have to like people, you have to work. So I am going to challenge you to go home tonight and take a test on the internet. This is something I did not do or even know about when I was in college. It's called the DISC test, the DISC test. This is going to tell you about your personality. You see, I went to Dallas Baptist. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. I came down to Dallas. That's how I ended up here to play baseball, and all I ever wanted to do in life was play baseball. There was one problem. I was never good enough to make a dime playing baseball. So my advisor kept telling me, you need to pick a major. My freshman year, my major was baseball. Sophomore year, he came, you got to pick a major, baseball. Into the sophomore year, he said, you must choose a major because we've got to give you upper level courses. I said, I have no idea what I want to do. So he said, well, let's open your file and look at your grades. I kind of put my head down, and he opened it up and he said, well, you're not majoring in English, that's for sure. And I went, whew, because I barely got through English. It was good to know I wasn't going to major in English. He said, the only thing you've made A's in is chemistry. Why don't you major in chemistry? And I said, okay. I had no idea what a chemist did, and he chose for my major organic chemistry. When I got out, I got a job at Mobil Oil working in a lab about the size of the corner of this room by myself with test tubes and beakers. I had no idea my personality loves to talk. So I'm having a great time tonight. I've got a captive audience in front of me. And I'm going to tell you, for 8 years, not once did a beaker or a test tube say a word back to me. And just like most of you, they didn't even laugh at my jokes either. So it was the worst possible profession for me, and I never did put in the time to find out. So take the DISC test and find out about your personality. It's going to give you a lot of information on what you really want to do. So I ended up going back to school, getting my physical therapy degree, and when I got out with that, I thought I was going to go and open a clinic right near Arlington Stadium and treat the Texas Rangers. That was my goal. Again, young and dumb, I hadn't studied that physical therapists weren't primary care, portal of entry healthcare providers, and opening your own clinic was not going to work, so I went to work for a PT clinic, 40 hours a week, 2 weeks vacation, and for me, that I wanted to be the captain of my own ship. And so that's how I ended up going to Parker the first year it opened. I went there, and within 3 years and 4 months, I had my doctorate degree. I became a portal of entry primary care physician, and then I finished a specialty as a certified chiropractic sports physician. I bought an existing clinic in Arlington, and it was only open 21 hours a week. Bingo. It was great. I saw patients. I played golf 3 times a week. I went to all the Ranger games. But the only problem was the Rangers would not allow a chiropractor to touch any of their athletes. So I'm the type, if you tell me I can't do it, I'm going to find a way. So I bought season tickets right behind their dugout. And the great thing was they were cheap because the Rangers were terrible, except for the nights when Nolan Ryan pitched. That was the only time there was a crowd there. And so I started standing and coming to batting practice, standing right there by the players. And 2 years, it took me 2 years before one of the players, because they knew I played college ball, they knew I was a chiropractor, and one of the players came up and said, "Hey, I want a deal, I want to come and see you." And I was like, oh, these professional players, they want everything for free. I know that's what he wants. And he said, "What I want is to come to your office, drive up to the back door, come in the back door when no one else is in the office. I want you to treat me. I want to leave through the back door, and you can't tell a single soul that you treated me." I was like, okay, we got a deal. So his name was Gino Petralli. He was the backup catcher. That was a start, because a couple months later he said, "Hey, one of the other guys wants the same deal. Can you work it out?" I was like, okay. I said, "Who is it?" He said, "It's Pudge, the starting catcher." Pudge started coming in, and Pudge's best buddy was Juan Gonzalez on the team, if you're old enough to remember that. Juan started coming in, then Rusty Greer, and before I knew it, I was the chiropractor for the Texas Rangers, but I couldn't tell a single soul. To this day, you're the first ones. No, not really. And that got me into the Olympics, and I traveled with the Olympics for 12 years. I was in the games in Rio, in Beijing, and London. I've been to every country in South America, every country in Asia, almost every country in Europe, and even a couple of countries in Africa. 2 things I love to do in life: treat athletes and travel. And I found a way to get paid for it. It doesn't get any better than that. Find something you love to do and make it your profession. It is feasible to do that. Right now, we have 150 graduates from Parker in our sports physician program that are the personal doctors for Tom Brady, Tiger Woods, Jordan Spieth, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Tony Finau, Dr. Camille Reagan in Dallas, one of the best gigs I know of in sports. She's the personal chiropractor for Usman, the UFC world welterweight champ, who lives and trains in Dallas. She flies on his private jet to every fight he has in the world, and when she's not flying with him, she is working with the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA. She has such a large sports practice because before that, she also worked with the Olympic triathlete team. But Usman and the Milwaukee Bucks, it's sad to say, pay a lot more money than the U.S. Olympic. And so that's how she ended there. But she has a clinic at 635 in Preston in Dallas. It's so large and so busy, she's had to hire 4 of our sports physicians to work in that. If you meet her, she's no different than any one of us. She just worked hard, got the doors open. She started in the T-Bar Tennis Club in Dallas in one little bitty room with one little table. That was the beginning for her. I can tell you about Dr. Matt Lowe, who graduated from Parker. He's down at the University of Texas. He's the chiropractor for the University of Texas swim team. And 4 years ago, he got appointed to the U.S. Olympic swim team and was in Japan, and now he works with them full-time. These are the types of things that are available to you if you put your mind, if you work hard. So, have a handout. I'm going to tell you what we have to offer, but there are lots of schools with lots of great programs for kines students, so it doesn't have to be Parker. What I want you to do is do your research. Don't do like me and let someone else pick your career, because they're going to make the wrong decision. Only you can make the best decision for yourself. And so these are the healthcare degrees we offer right over in Dallas. We have associates in diagnostic sonography. That's ultrasound. That's an up-and-coming degree. And I tried to talk my granddaughter, because she graduated and had no idea what she wanted to do. So I tried to talk her into getting this associate's degree. Here's why. Every one of our graduates has a job before they graduate, and starting salary in sonography is, I'm glad you're sitting down, $90,000 a year. With an associate's degree, if you do the cardiovascular specialty in sonography, starting salary is $120,000. For the degree, this is the best ROI, return on your investment, that you could do. But you see radiology, massage therapy, we have all of those. And then all of our bachelors are online, 100% online. Kines students love sports, love strength and human performance, that sort of thing. Our bachelor's degree there is online, but you do a clinical rotation. You can Google, we have Parker Performance Institute, which is at the Star with the Dallas Cowboys in Frisco, and that's where you would do your clinical rotation if you do that degree. Our master's also in strength and human performance, you would do your rotation at the same location there. We have an anatomy bachelor's degree, integrative health. We just started a sports psychology. I cannot tell you how important sports psychologists are. Working with the Olympics, every single sports federation in the U.S. Olympics has a sports psychologist now working with them. Let me tell you, probably 90% of any athletic endeavor is between the two ears. If you get to that level, you have the ability to play that sport. The big difference between the ones that really make it and don't is all right between their ears. And so that's why sports psychology is becoming one of the biggest things in not only the Olympics, but professional athletes are utilizing them. Today, professional athletes make so much money, they hire their own doctor, their own sports psychologist, their own nutritionist. It's unbelievable the amount of money we pay our athletes. But it's great that they're utilizing people who can, number one, make their body move better, make their body last longer, give them the right nutrition. I can tell you, when I went through sports, we had no idea what nutrition was. It was go to practice, go run to the cafeteria, eat, and then 9 o'clock hit pizza in for all you can eat every night. That's just the way it was. We've learned so much about the human body over the last 50 years, and you are going to be positioned to help those athletes do that. So we have a doctorate degree, and before I talk about that, I want to go back here. Do you see yourself contributing to society? I want to talk about that because I think that is very important. Do you love to work with your mind and your hands, and do you have an interest in health science? If you answer yes to those, then we've got lots of programs for you. I'm going to fast forward here to a slide that I really want to talk about. So if you want to be a chiropractor, if you want to go into any health science, these are the top 10 things you need to have. So number one, you have to have strong business skill if you're going to open up your own clinic, obviously. Strong communication skills to talk to patients. You got to have empathy for your patient. Not sympathy, but empathy. I hope you know the difference between those two, because empathy is where you put them in front of your own wants and needs to take care of them. You got to have a focus on the patient, good manual coordination to work with patients, humility, knowledgeable, passion for whatever career you're going into. You got to put people at ease. But I'm going to talk about number 10 because number 10 is the most important thing that anyone can have in their life. So I'm going to ask you a question tonight maybe you've never even thought about, but I think it's the most important question anyone could ask someone. And that is, why are you on the face of the earth? Why are you here? And while you're here, what are you going to do? See, I thought when I was in college, my whole goal was to see how much oxygen I could suck up and how much partying I could do. I can tell you, neither one of those are going to get you very far in life. In fact, they're really not going to get you anywhere now that I look back on it. So why are you here? And what are you going to do while you're here? And what are they going to remember you for? When you're dead and gone, you're not taking your money with you. You're not taking your looks with you. You're not taking your clothes with you. And I know this is a shock, you're not taking your car either. They're going to remember you for what you did for others. What you did while you were here. And how well you did that. You really don't think about that at your age. When you become my age at 71, you think about it all the time. And it becomes a major goal, and you wish you did it earlier. You wish someone had told you in your 20s that that's what life was all about. So if you don't know what your sense of purpose is, I'm going to tell you, you need to do what I did. I had this question asked to me by a professor when I was failing out of chiropractic school. And she said, you need to go home tonight, and you need to figure it out, whether you really want to be here or not. And I went home, and I took the longest walk of my life. I walked all night long. Kind of Forrest Gump. I walked, and I walked, and I walked, and I walked. And finally, the next morning, when the sun came up, I realized I really wanted to become a doctor of chiropractic. So I did away with my TV. I did away with every single distraction in my life, and I finished with all A's and B's. And unfortunately, because of my first semester, I finished my doctorate degree with a 3.4999999. It takes a 3.5 to graduate with honors. So to this day, I didn't graduate with honors, but I graduated. And that should be your focus. Find your goal, find your passion, and look for it, and don't let anyone divert you. So I'm going to challenge you to go home tonight. When you find that passion, write down your goals. And you should have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly and semester goals. Especially when you're in school, you want goals for that semester. And every day when you look at the mirror, you need to figure out, today, what am I going to do to get closer to every one of those goals? Don't let a day go by you don't work on your goals. I'm going to tell you, at the end of that road, it is wonderful. Reaching higher and higher and going higher than you ever thought you could go. It's exhilarating as winning a gold medal. I've never won a gold medal, but I can tell you about an athlete that I treated. She got injured, and we didn't think she was going to make it at all. We didn't think she was going to be able to play. Think of training 4 years every day of your life and getting to the Olympics and thinking that you may not even get to compete. And so I took her under my wings, and I treated her 3, 4, 5 times a day, and we got her back on the court. And she ended up winning and winning and winning, and she got down to the gold medal round, and she played her nemesis from Mexico, who she had never beaten. In fact, that girl got into her head every single time, the way she played her game on the squash court. And before that game, I probably did more sports psychology and not trained in sports psychology than I've ever done, because I knew it was between her ears why she could never beat that girl. And she won that night. She won the gold medal, and this is my MasterCard moment. It's priceless. After the national anthem, she came down. She ran past her coaches, past her family, past everyone, right up to me. She took the medal off, hung it around my neck, and said, "You're the reason I won this." That's a story I can tell my grandkids. That's my MasterCard moment, which is priceless. Money can't buy those type of things, but I'm telling you, in the field of helping others, you're going to have moments like that. And those are the moments you're going to live for. Those are the moments you're going to remember. So I want to thank you for, number one, reaching and going out and getting an education. Number two, getting an education in kinesiology where you can help people in the future. My wife keeps wondering when I'm going to retire, and I just retired from my full-time job, and now I'm back at Dallas Baptist treating the baseball team, and I love it. I'm 71. I'm never, ever going to retire. I'm never going to stop, because that's what gives me motivation every day. And so you can see, I finally found something that I could live for, that I could be motivated for. We need great organic geochemists, but that was never, ever the field for me. That's why I love to speak to students. I love to motivate students to get them to really dig in, do their research, and find out what's best for them. So I'm going to open up to questions. Oh, before I do that, if any of those degrees, and I challenge you to do your research, if any of those programs on that card is of interest to you, all you got to do is take your phone out right now. I'm going to make it really easy for you. It typically is not this easy to get information, but I'm going to make it where you can get information on any of those degrees by going to a website. Just put in parker.edu, parker.edu, and then I learned from my granddaughter just 2 years ago, there's a forward and a backslash. Put in / and put in Dr. Thomas, Dr. Thomas. Now, don't be shocked if you see my ugly mug pop up on the screen in front of you. Simply put in 2 or 3 bits of information there, and there's a drop down where you can choose any of those degrees that's on that card in front of you, and we're going to email you a ton of information. So that you, and again, we're not going to hound you. That's not our business. Our business is to give you as much or as little information as you want so you can make the right decision for yourself. And at the bottom, it asks for a VIN code. So we're going to put in, this is a tough one now, TCCDNW. TCCDNW. And that will get you into our system where we will email all of that information out to you so you can take a look. We'll also invite you over to our campus in Dallas to spend the day. We'll feed you your meals and let you just go through our whole campus and see all of the cutting-edge technology we have, especially in the area of anatomy. We're one of the very few schools in the country that has virtual reality anatomy, where you can put on the goggles and actually go inside a cadaver and look at the anatomy. It's pretty freaky the first time you do it, especially when you're 70 years old. All right, with all of that said, any questions? Am I over time? No, I've still got some time, don't I? Questions that I might answer. If you don't ask me questions, I turn around and ask you questions. Yes, sir, all the way up at the top. We're going to bring a microphone if you come down and meet us halfway, because we want to get this recorded so that we hear the question and definitely so I can answer it and hear it. He's getting his steps in today. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. My name is Austin. I'm currently knocking out my prerequisites for nursing. My question is, what is the most common mistake you see with your experience that people make in regards to their health And what are your recommendations for young people to live a healthy life?
Well, my generation, we didn't know what health was. So the generation today is much, much smarter than we are when it comes to health. There's so much information out there on the internet, on the TV, everywhere you look, but some of it's conflicting. So you have to be careful what information you're looking for, but I can tell you work out, you eat a proper diet, it looks like you get plenty of exercise. We didn't know how important exercise was. In fact, in the 1950s, my dad did a hard labor. He didn't come home and exercise because he didn't need to do it. His health care came from working 8 hours a day, hard labor. But most of us today, especially in the United States, we make our living by what? Sitting, standing in one place, not a lot of hard labor, physical labor. That's why you've got to continue to exercise. I'm 71, and my wife and I played pickleball for 3 hours this morning. So you got to keep moving. My knees are shot. I've had replacements because I was a catcher in baseball. We didn't know that catching a doubleheader all the time would kill your knees. We didn't know all that. So educate yourself and follow through on that education, because I'm going to tell you, you only get one body, and you want to take care of it. You don't want to end up like I am with arthritis in almost every joint in the body. You want to live a long, but you want to live a quality life, and that's what healthcare does for you. Yes, thanks for the question. Others?
Hello, my name is Coop, and I was just wondering, through your journey, have there ever been treatments that you could not do that you completely give up?
Treatments for myself, or
No,
treatments for
other
patients?
people
Yeah.
to the point that you just I can't do it no more.
Yeah. Oh, you mean me physically treating?
Yeah.
I'm still treating. And let me tell you, I treat 35 baseball players 4 times a week. And those guys, I can't believe how big baseball players are today. When I played baseball, 5'8", 5'9", you were average size. Our pitchers, most of them are 6'3" to 6'7", and one of them 6'8" right out of high school, and they're that tall. They all weigh over 200, 250 pounds. They're massive, and they've worked out their whole life. I keep treating them. I'm going to keep treating them till the last breath I take, if they'll keep me working with them. So that's what I love about chiropractic and my profession. We have a doctor on our board at Parker University. He is 93 years old and still practices chiropractic every single day. He adjusts patients and sees them. One thing about chiropractic, we really, really preach wellness and taking care of your body, and that falls right in line with kinesiology and exactly what you're learning now. So that shouldn't be something you just do in your 20s, 30s, 40s, but it's got to be your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and hopefully someday even our hundreds. Okay. All right, any other questions before I start asking questions? Because I see I got a little bit of time. I like to give tests too, so just letting you know. So how many of you know exactly what you want to do when you graduate? Okay. That's not the majority of hands. So do your research. Please, please do that. Look into it. And here's what all of the degrees that we offer, what I would suggest, if any of those degrees are on there and you filled it out and sent that in, when they contact you, tell them you want to go shadow one of our graduates. Go spend a day or 2 or 3. Had I gone to that geochemistry lab at Mobile Oil, I would have known in just minutes, this is not for me, being locked up in a room by myself with nothing but test tubes and beakers. So you'll know that's the best thing you can do. The other thing I failed to mention, if you love animals, at Parker we have the only animal chiropractic program in the world. When I graduated from chiropractic school 41 years ago, if you told me we would be treating lions and tigers and giraffes and ostriches and zebras and boa constrictors and horses and cows and bulls and dogs and cats, I would have told you you're out of your ever-living mind. That's exactly what's going on today. So our graduates, if you want to see some really neat animal chiropractic videos, go to YouTube. Dr. Joren Whitley, Jorenwhitley. He goes to South Africa every summer, spends several months adjusting all the animals at the wildlife refuge, and he puts all those videos on YouTube. So you can see him treating tigers and giraffes and all of those things. I have my animal certification too, but I draw the line. I do not do snakes. Sorry, snakes, but I don't treat snakes. But he does. He's got pictures of adjusting rattlesnakes on there and boa constrictors and all of those crazy things. He practices up in Oklahoma, and he got his start, believe it or not, with the Tiger King. If you ever saw that show on TV, he was in Edmond. The Tiger King heard about him and knew that he adjusted animals, called him up one day, and he went down and started treating all the tigers there. We have over at Lone Star Track, Dr. Joe Parrish works over there. He only works 2 days a week at the track. He adjusts 50 thoroughbred horses on Friday and 50 on Saturday. He charges $150 per horse cash, and he only works 2 days a week. Best gig I know of, and he has no overhead, no office, no staff, no nothing. I love the way he puts it. His only overhead is his pickup truck and his gasoline. We have Dr. Rakowski. She works with the U.S. Olympic equestrian team. She was an equestrian rider in college. And we have Dr. Leighton Tishman. She was a barrel horse racer in college, and now she travels with the pro rodeo and just treats barrel horse racing. Right up here in Justin, Texas, Dr. Jessica Judd, all she treats is show cattle. She works on getting that perfect straight back line in the spine for show cattle. Literally, every month I'm hearing about a new niche in animal chiropractic that we're doing. I never thought it would go, but now I realize most people with pets, the pet gets treated before they even get treated. So little Fluffy goes to the doctor before mom and dad go to the doctor, or even the other siblings. Fluffy gets first shot at treatment, and that's why animal chiropractic is booming right now in the U.S. All right. I think I talked about everything. There's no other questions. If you want to email me personally, if you have questions or anything about what I said today, ktomas@parker.edu. ktomas@parker.edu. I would more than happy to pick up the phone and talk to you about anything that I talked to tonight, because the future of this country is you. It's not me, it's you. We're handing it over to you, and what you do with it is very, very, very important. So thank you so much for allowing me to come and talk. Have a wonderful night. I'll be over here at the table. You got to come over to the table because I've got all of these for everyone. Everybody has to have the coolest keychain in town. Right here. Everybody needs an extra spine. You never know when you need an extra spine. And I'm going to give everybody an extra spine tonight if you drop by the table. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Thomas.
Well, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. I hope you learned a lot about the possible job opportunities and careers in kinesiology. We heard a wonderful talk from Dr. Thomas. He has some really cool swag, as does the kinesiology department. So please make sure to visit some tables on your way out. Make sure that you grab all your belongings and any trash you may have. It goes in the proper receptacle. And also, we ask that you make it a point to fill out the student engagement survey to get some very much appreciated feedback. And you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.